Tonko, Chip said that you look like a different guy this year versus last spring. What do you think he means by that?
I mean, I feel like a new person. I've changed a lot of stuff. Got pretty busy in the off season, pretty busy over the summer. Changed around a lot of things with my body. Got a lot stronger, a little bit leaner, more athletic. Changed some physical stuff on the mound. Added some new pitches. Mentally, I feel a lot better. But I mean, I think my worst outing this spring was better than my best outing last spring. And I've been pretty consistent so far, and I feel like everything that was going good last year has gotten even better this year, and all my weaknesses I've made significantly better.
What prompted you to make all those changes?
I mean, I got hit around pretty hard last year. You know, I couldn't look myself in the mirror and go, yeah, no, I'm fine. Like, let's just go roll into next season. You know, I know I had to change something. You know, I think at one point you got to look into the mirror and say, you know, all right, now what? Like, what do you got to do now, and what can you change? You got to be pretty honest with yourself and say, I was pretty bad at this, so let's attack this. You know, if this is my weakness, now we're going to go make it my strength.
Chris, what are you looking at envisioning your role being this year?
To be quite honest, I think it's going to be the same role as last year. Kind of back-end type of guy, kind of situations. What's going to be different this year is, you know, last year my arm was a bit lackadaisical, and this year in the off-season I've really been, you know, working on that and strengthening my mind, my arm, and yeah.
Was it a situation where when it was starting to bother you that it would get in your head?
Yeah, I feel like at times it was more mental than kind of physical, which I've gotten a lot better this year with that. And just as a whole, my body feels amazing. My mindset is 10 times better than it was last year.
Do relief pitchers like to have like a specific slot that they're used in, the eighth inning guy, the closer, the lefty specialist? I mean, or do you want to get the call whenever it's asked for?
I want to get the call whenever it's asked for, yeah. Traditionally, before I came to the U of A, I was a starter, so it was kind of like a new role for me. So I had to get used to, you know, my routines as far as out of the bullpen, and I don't have much time to get hot and ready to go in the game as if I was a starter.
Tonko, you had mentioned us last year. You had a pretty lengthy routine. Mm-hmm. Did you change that at all?
A little bit. A little bit less throwing stuff before and more body prep. So more focus on being able to make sure that my hips are warm, my back is warm, and that everything is moving right, and that all those grooves are nice and, you know, everything's moving well. More of that than it was, okay, I need to go do an hour of arm prep and go do an hour of throwing. And by the time I've already gotten to the game, you know, by the time you get into a game, you've already long tossed, you've already thrown a bullpen. Understanding that everything else that you're doing is just preparation for the next step. So that catch play is preparation for your bullpen is preparation for the game, and that I want to be hot at the end of my bullpen instead of before I even long toss.
Do you think that coming off the injury played in the back of your head that you were playing it safe a little bit last year and that could have contributed to something?
I think the coaches definitely wanted to make sure that they weren't putting too much stress on my arm. I thought they did a good job. It's probably the responsible thing to do. But I thought my arm felt pretty good last year. I think my velo fluctuated a little bit more than I'd like it to, but I think for the most part I was basically 90-91 most outings. My arm feels better this year. I think that most of that is just because I'm so much stronger this year. I didn't really change much about my arm care program, but everything's feeling good, and everything's feeling good at the right time.
Have you put on weight?
No, I think last year I would say I fluctuated between 212 to 216, got up to like 220. This year I've been pretty rock solid at 208 to 211. So I'm in a good spot, much leaner, and I think, you know, dropped a little bit of body fat percentage, put on some more muscle, and I think it's better weight this year.
Chris, when you say your arm felt lackadaisical, do you mean it was sore at times, or?
Yeah, it was more of like a discomfort. Not really. It didn't really hurt. It was more like a tightness, which over time it's going to get better. It just happened kind of at the wrong moment during the season.
How did you could feel it, I guess? Did you notice was your velocity falling off as well?
My velo would fall off at times. It was kind of like an on and off situation where I would be throwing, you know, low to mid 90s, and then the next outing I would be like high to low 80s, which, you know, kind of plays a big toll on your mind, thinking like, okay, like what can I do better? What can I do to fix it? And it was just over time it got a lot better.
In the off season to fix it, you just decided you're going to get stronger?
Yeah, so this summer I actually stayed here, worked with our strength coach, Coach Campos, did a lot of, you know, mobility, kind of whole body mobility to loosen up my hips, loosen up my shoulder, strengthen my shoulder. And that was probably the best decision that I made going forward to this season because my arm feels a lot better and I'm excited for what.
Last year, there was the pitch clock for you guys, and I believe there's now going to be a hitter's clock of some sort?
They just modified rules, but there's a little bit more strict for both, for pitchers and hitters. Definitely something we had to work with in the fall, and definitely something that we've been training all fall and spring. It's a little bit different. It's going to cause us to speed up some things, some new pickoff rules as well, and you can't just do the step off and cock your arm up. You only get one of those per at-bat now. So if you want to do that multiple times in at-bat, you're going to have to go throw a gimme pick over, or, you know. It's changed a little bit, and it's a little bit faster. You now have to get the ball out of your hand by 20 seconds.
And the batter has to be in the box at 10 seconds.
Instead of, I believe it was 6 seconds last year.
Yeah.
So definitely a little bit faster this year. And that can, you know, get a little bit more complicated when you have runners on second and stuff. So we have some new technology that we got coming in that's going to help us speed up the game and make it easier on us so that doesn't become an issue.
For either one of you or both, Chip has talked a lot about how there's more depth on this year's team, both on the pitching side and the hitting side. What do you just make of the talent that's spread across the roster now?
There's a lot of talent on our roster. I think there's a lot more experience on our roster, too. Everybody's a year older. The freshmen that we have, too, we have some pretty special freshmen. I think they're going to add some good depth. But, you know, bringing on a guy like Jackson Kent, who wasn't allowed to pitch for us last year, and we now have as an option as a starter or, you know, long relief, maybe even deep in the bullpen later on in the game. He's going to help us out a lot, but there's lots of arms throughout our pen that I think give us a lot of great depth, and I think if we can stay healthy this year, it's going to be a strength of ours.
Yeah, another thing about, to kind of top off what Tonko said, is like a lot of our freshman class can play different roles. Mm-hmm. So some can start, some can, you know, put in those big situations late in the game and, like, you know, succeed. Like this class is more experienced and kind of on the mature side, which is a good thing as far as pitching. And as far as hitting too, I mean, we have a lot of good, solid hitters from returners to incoming freshmen this year.
I asked the hitters which pitchers gave them the most trouble during the intra-squads. Who would you guys say are the hitters that you had the hardest time getting out?
That's pretty hard. I mean, a lot of the hitters are very disciplined, but one that kind of sticks out is CD, Chase Davis. He's one guy to get out. As if it consists of, you know, a hard ground ball, it's going to be pretty hard, and you don't really see him strike out much.
I thought Chase at one point last year really was able to kind of take his walks more often and not chase that breaking ball out of zone. Once he did that and he forced pitchers to have to beat him in the zone, he became a whole new hitter, and he became a whole other problem to deal with. I would say my toughest hitter to face is probably Caulfield. That guy's just a really smart hitter in general. He can get to the fastball, and he sees breaking balls really well. He's just a smart hitter. He can hit balls, line drives over the second. He's a gap-to-gap hitter, can take the ball any pitch anywhere in the field, and he's a tough guy to get out.
I think he said that you were the toughest pitcher for him to face. So those must have been some pretty good matchups that you guys had.
I got a knock off me the last inter squad. Took a curveball over the short line drive over the shortstop. So it was a good pitch too, 2-strike pitch.
Is that frustrating when a hitter does that, when they wait on it, even on a fastball just to be able to get it over second base? That it's like, you know, why aren't they swinging over that?
I mean, it's part of the game. You know, hitters when you get to this level, hitters are really good. You know, I remember facing CD multiple times last year. He took me yard twice in the red versus blue game, and both of them were balls in the track man. I'm just going, okay. Like, he hit a ball that was a ball and a half below the zone, and he hit it over our hitting center. What are you going to do about it? You know, there's plenty of times last year where I located perfect pitches and guys hit missiles or guys hit home runs. There's plenty of times where you hang a pitch right over the middle and the hitter swings through it. There's plenty of times, like Mason White took me to the warning track the other day, and we made a great play on the warning track. Two outfielders collided and made a great play. But I think for every time that a hitter, either he gets lucky or he hits a great pitch, there's a time where he misses a bad pitch or I get lucky. So I think it evens itself out.
Any more questions?
What do you guys think about the new uniforms, the white ones?
They're legit. I mean, it's my last year here, and like I've never had a jersey with my last name on it, so I thought that was pretty cool.
I'm psyched to see my last name on a jersey. I think that's awesome. I think it's a great touch, and I think they're sweet jerseys, and it's an awesome tribute to national championship team that Chip was able to play on, and we're lucky enough to be coached by him now.
How often do you talk to Daniel?
I talked to Daniel a lot. He came down last week and caught a bullpen for us, and I talked to him often. He was sending us videos today of his new locker, number 82 this spring. So we definitely talk to him often.
All right, thank you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you.